All right, Augusta. It is Sunday, September 17th. My name is Chris Voynik. I am running for Augusta City Council at large on November 7th. Thanks for joining me. This is my second video, completely unedited, completely raw. No script or anything like that, just kind of some bullet points that I wanted to chat with you guys about. Shirt that I'm wearing today is State Lunch. Does not mean that they endorse me. These are not their views. Just I'm wearing their brand today. I'm going to continue to do that for all of my videos. So let's jump right into it. First things first, campaign stuff. I want to show you some of this. So we got these nice little thank you cards here, right? And on the back, QR code to the website. So these are pretty cool. I've been sending these to people that have requested signs or made donations. And then, of course, I just kind of, if I miss somebody at a door, just leaving a personal little note in here. With that, also leaving these little rat cards that you've probably seen on the website. Talks about the different issues. That lighting's really bad. Sorry about that. Talks about some of the different issues that I want to focus on, and there's a little QR code up here that takes you to the website. So this is on the website too, but I'm taking these door to door. And then the other thing too, little business cards here. So this is just like a quick leave behind, or if I'm having a conversation with somebody. And then on the back, it just kind of talks about kind of some bullet points. So this says, Chris Voynik will advocate for businesses, practice fiscal responsibility, expand economic development, stop increasing taxes, fight for affordable housing, set Augusta up for long-term success, and be your voice. And then underneath it says community leader, entrepreneur, tax-paying neighbor, and then it's got a little QR code there too. So just kind of a cool little setup that we got here. So when I'm out knocking doors, it kind of looks something like that. So pretty cool. A few other things. I made a post about my involvement with the United Way. Some people thought that I just got on the board. I've actually been a part of them for probably a better part of 6 something years. I actually co-chaired the campaign for the entire year back 3 or 4 years ago. Raised $1.6 million for them and for their partner programs. Love the organization. If you're not familiar, quick shout out to them. They do so many great things with partner programs in the area. Other thing, went to their Pacesetter breakfast, which is really great. But the big thing I want to talk to you guys about today is roads and infrastructure. So on the rat card, where are we at? Public infrastructure. And this is right on the rat card, right on the website. Our city public works department is struggling, whether it is keeping up with the conditions of residential side roads in the summer or finding enough plow drivers in the winter. The department needs to grow with the needs of the city and its residents. Okay, right? That sounds pretty simple. I mean, other than the fact that it costs money to do that. But I went to city council on Thursday. There was two agenda items on there that that had to do with roads. I wanted to jump up and just kind of talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to read you guys exactly what I said in front of council. You can actually find it on CT7's archive videos, but I'm just going to read it to you real quick. It's kind of long, but I think it's really kind of worth it. All right, so text. Here we go. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chris Voynik. I am a resident of Ward 1. And I'm really excited about some of the agenda items this evening and just wanted to take a moment to comment on a few of them. First, street paving. Side note, Councillor Lynn put this in, and then there was a second line item for the Ganniston neighborhood that Councillor Allen put in as well. So excited to see them both on there because we know this is an issue. So first, street paving. I am sure you all know this, but citizens are disappointed with the conditions of our roads. I understand that Public Works does their best with staffing. However, we are falling behind according to a 2021 iWork Pavement Management Report. Our remaining service life, which was referred to as RSL in the report, is 6.03 years. Our optimal or our target should be around the 10-year mark. So that puts us already in a fair to poor category on the conditions of our roads. If our roads were in excellent condition, a tall order, I know. But if they were, they would be valued at somewhere in the neighborhood of $214.5 million. Once you take into our consideration our RSL of 6.03 years, our roads are currently valued at $60.7 million. So the difference, the big number that we worry about, the difference, $153.8 million. So again, not looking for every road to be in excellent condition. No, that's not possible. However, the $158.8 million is a key indicator that we cannot be deferring any more road maintenance because we are already behind schedule. What's even more concerning is that what's even more concerning than being this far behind is that the report mentioned 22% of the streets had 2 years or less left. And keep in mind, this report was done in December of 2021. So we're already 2 years. We're already at the 2-year mark. And 74% had a life or RSL of 4 to 10 years. So take out the 2 years, because we're already there, and then look at the 74% that had 4 to 10 years back when this report was done. We have a massive cliff that's approaching that we need to be proactively addressing now. So lastly, the report estimated that about $25.9 million is needed to repair the 22% of streets that were mentioned. Okay, so I know that's kind of a lot of numbers. Big things, big cliff approaching as far as repairs that are going to be needed to the roads. And then it's going to cost about $25.9 million to repair. However, the report, and this was what really got me, the report recommended that, or suggested that these roads are still passable and continue to function as part of our road network. And then their recommendation, that we paid money, I'm assuming a good chunk of money for this report, their recommendation was let the poor roads stay in poor condition and do the minimum amount of work needed to keep them passable. Just using my road for an example, Brentwood Road 2 years ago had an RSL of a zero. That was 2 years ago. And that was before there was a large logging project done at the end of the road. Residents have written a couple letters to Public Works, and all we have received to date is 3 round patches of loose hot top that was just kind of thrown in. It wasn't compacted down. They relied on all of the people that live on our road to kind of run it over to kind of pack it down. So if that does make it to winter, which it probably won't, it will definitely be ripped up at the first pass of a Public Works snowplow. So I would urge the council not to accept the fact that keeping good roads good and bad roads bad is good policy. All of our roads are important, not just the side roads, not just the main roads, not just the ones in certain neighborhoods. I understand it requires money, and based on this report, it requires a lot of money, to about the tune of $25 million. But if this city does not start finding funding, then I'm worried that we are going to be doing restoration instead of repairs and maintenance on our roads. I would also encourage this council to consider creating, if they have not already, a separate line item in this budget to take on this project. I firmly believe that we can kickstart this fund with revenue that's generated through economic development, but that's going to be at a different conversation. Or we can start to fund it with our one-time tax increase, or our one tax increase that we've already had, and then the other one that's already slated for next year that's already been voted on. So we've got 2 tax increases. Let's put some of that money back towards our infrastructure. Second item I want to comment on quickly is the Augusta Police Department Downtown Foot Patrol investment has made a positive change, and I believe that's a really great start to helping people downtown feel safer than they recently have. I would strongly support additional funding for this program. So that is what I had to say to City Council, talking about roads. Long story short, we know we are behind. Public Works got up after, or not after, well, yeah, after, but they got up during their agenda item, and they just said, yeah, we're behind. We're behind. Nothing, no solution. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody knows there's issues, but there's no solutions. We need solutions. We need somebody that can get in there and say, okay, this is going to set us back $25 million. Bonds came up, increasing taxes came up. It took probably 30 to 45 minutes before somebody spoke up and said, how about economic development? I know economic development is not going to happen overnight, but our city is growing. The needs of our people are growing. The road conditions are deteriorating. We can't fix it with increasing taxes or issuing a bond every election cycle. We need a long-term solution to this, and economic development is going to be what grows our tax revenue and allows us to focus on problems like this. There's no way, other than with a bond, to dig ourselves out of a $25 million road reconstruction project. I mean, yeah, we can do a bond, but then, I mean, our city already has quite a bit of debt, servicing debt that, I mean, they manage, but we need a solution that is actually going to continue to fund this project and to continue to fund our infrastructure, and that needs to happen through economic development. That is where the money is going to come from. It is not going to come from increasing taxes. It is not going to come from issuing bonds every year. We cannot live on debt. We need to set it up. The city needs to run like a business. We need to have cash flow so that we can focus on projects like this. And every year that we don't do that, we're just falling further and further and further behind. And like I said in my address to the council, is if we don't address this, we are going to be focusing on restoration of all of our roads rather than just repairs and maintenance. We cannot keep putting Band-Aids on these roads and expect that somewhere the money's just going to come out of thin air and one day we're just going to be able to go out and fix all of our roads. So those are my thoughts on the road right now. I really think that the funding needs to come from a long-term solution, which would be economic development. Increasing taxes for road repair is not the solution. I mean, at this point, we're so far behind on it that a tax increase wouldn't even address that gap of $25 million. And if it did, then geez, that would be a big tax increase. So we need a steady flow of tax revenue coming in through economic development in order to address this issue long term. It's needed. Everybody knows it. I mean, even Public Works, like I said, they know they are behind, and it cannot be band-aided with tax increase or a bond. It really needs a long-term solution. So those are my thoughts on the roads in Augusta. I've talked to a lot of people that have reiterated that this is a massive issue. It's something that I think City Council over the next, starting now, but over the next 5 to 10 years is really going to be pressured with, especially if we don't get a solution here. Out of that conversation, there was no path forward that was even discussed. It was pretty much, yes, we have an issue. We don't know what to do about it. Maybe we could issue a bond. But there's no driving force behind it to say this needs to be done. So, all right, that's enough about roads. I've spoken to you guys for about 14, 15 minutes now. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any concerns, feel free to send me an email, give me a call, go to my website, voynikforcouncil.com, request a sign, make a donation, submit a question that I can talk about on these videos. That way it's not always just me talking about what I want to. It's more of a dialogue. Happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I appreciate your support so much already. I'm looking forward to November 7th, and I'm going to go knock on some doors. Bye, guys.